Means he's got at least $1 billion left. Come on, who wouldn't marry him? Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Cavs get it together. Phil Jackson has an issue with the commish, and Nick Saban takes a shot at Tim Tebow. But we begin today with the Eagles crushing Carolina last night, 45-21, after sprinting out 45-7. Mark Sanchez, in his first start in years, completed 20 of 37 for 332 yards and 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. It was statistically the best game of Sanchez's career. So, Wilbon, who gets more credit for this, Mark Sanchez or Chip Kelly?
Well, we've seen Mark Sanchez play well before, and stats aside, he's had a better game as far as I'm concerned, if not statistically, in terms of passing yardage, in New England against Tom Brady. Once threw 3 touchdowns, no picks there. So that trumps anything he might have done last night against Carolina. But Chip Kelly, Tone, has a team. You can say an environment, you can say a culture, you can say all those, a system. People like to have all those buzzwords. It's a better team. You know, the first couple of years he played on a pretty good team in New York with the Jets, and they were able to get to conference championship games with Sanchez playing the position. But this is a superior outfit.
So your answer is what? Chip Kelly?
I'm going to give Chip Kelly 70% of the credit. I'm going to give Sanchez about 30%.
Okay, I want to remind you, I want to go back to last year.
Okay.
Your position is pretty much a dyed-in-the-wool position that most college coaches cannot coach in the pros.
That's a fact.
Yeah, they
most
can't. Right. And
Chip Kelly has proven that to be wrong.
Well, you took a lot of delight.
Me to be wrong.
But you took a lot of delight when they were 3-5 last year. You pointed to me, you said, you see? The answer in this is Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly, look what he's won with Michael Vick, who's now a retread. He's won with Nick Foles, a guy that was drafted in the 3rd round out of Arizona that nobody cared about. And now he has won with Mark Sanchez. I'm giving it's him. It's the system. It's him.
It's him. Mostly him. But if Mark Sanchez goes out there last night and sticks the ball into somebody's butt, you would be the first guy making jokes today about how sorry Mark Sanchez is.
14-3 in his last 17 regular season games. And thank you for mentioning that. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that about Mark Sanchez, because nobody was downgraded like Mark Sanchez. Yeah. He was a laughing stock.
I said, playing on a good team makes all the difference in the world.
Did you hear what Steve Young said last night? He's your boy, right?
I love
Steve Young is your boy. He's in that stadium. He looks around and he says, and I want to get the quote right, okay, right here is a quarterback's dream.
Meaning that team, that situation, all of it.
Chip Kelly.
What are you, his publicist?
I just think he's good.
He's really good.
Thank you.
Can we settle on that?
Okay.
What I care about much more than the Eagles rolling through the sorry Panthers is Cam Newton looking like a piñata, like Sanchez a year ago, and subsequently a shell of himself just a season ago. Newton threw 3 interceptions last night in the first half, fumbled to start the second half, then pretty much took the blame for that dreadful loss that drops Carolina to 3-6-1. His coach, Ron Rivera, insists Cam is not hurt, even though he has sustained more hits than any quarterback in the NFL the last 4 seasons. Tone, what are we supposed to make of Cam Newton now?
He's not getting better. He may be going backwards. He came into the league 4 years ago.
Think he'd be okay playing in Chip Kelly's system?
Yeah, probably. He came into the league 4 years ago, and his first 2 games he went over 400 yards. Okay, he'd had the most unbelievable college season of all time, and then he does that. 3 of his first 4 games, he had 374 yards or more, and last year did very well. But right now, he's ranked 23rd in the league in quarterback QBR. He threw 3 picks, as you said. He fumbled, as you said. He's sitting on a team that went 0-4 in their last 4 games. So if you ask me how's he doing now, my answer is not very good.
He's not doing very well at all, Tony, but I'm going to put the blame where it belongs. And that would be on the front office of the Carolina Panthers. Where is the best receiver in Carolina Panthers history, including last year? Where's he now?
At the moment, he's in Baltimore.
He's in Baltimore. That would be Steve Smith.
Yeah, at the moment.
So now if you had this fabulous rookie and Steve Smith out there, you'd have a different quarterback because he's got different options. You have no running game. It's ranked 27th in the league. You have a terrible offensive line that allows him to get hit as many times as only, Ben Roethlisberger. Luckily, those are big, strong guys. They can take the hits. Tony, his team failed him. Chip Kelly's team helps their quarterback. That is not the case in Carolina.
Cam Newton is failing a little bit on his own because you see him at the end of every game, and he gets up there and he says something like this: "I got to stop doing this." But then he keeps doing this.
Because he says
I think your point is well made. I also wonder if he is hurt.
Me too.
Because here's what I don't understand.
He had ankle surgery late in the summer.
He's just about the greatest athlete at that position.
No question.
Just about. For him to get hit 9 times.
500 and some times.
Something must be wrong with him.
Of course it's wrong, Tony.
The other thing is this, and this is the other thing I wonder about.
What?
He was so great in college. He was so great early. It maybe hasn't dawned on him yet that he has to change. He may think.
Is he coachable, is what you're wondering?
I don't know how much coaching he's getting there, but I'm wondering if he thinks, if I just do what I do,
right,
we'll
be
be okay. I don't know.
No, it's not happening.
The Cleveland Cavaliers finally won at home last night. Finally looked like we expected them to look. LeBron James had a near triple-double. Kyrie Irving had 32 points and 9 assists. Kevin Love had 22 points. But it's not all rosy, according to our friend Sam Smith, who says, quote, indications are Love will seriously consider the opt-out and has his eyes on a return to Los Angeles, unquote. Wilbon, where do you want to start? The game last night or Love's future?
Well, let's start with the game last night, because if there are enough games like last night, like 50 more of them, then Kevin Love's future is going to be just fine, wherever he wants it to be, and it'll likely be with LeBron James, because then you know what you can do as you go into a postseason. I've heard there have been rumblings of that, coming out of the preseason and into the regular season.
I thought he had a deal. I thought he said he had a handshake deal.
Handshake, Tony, until you sign, they couldn't sign him. You've got to sign the contract in that new place with that new team, and he's not allowed by NBA rules to do that yet. But I think it's so early to try to put all this pressure on LeBron and the Cavaliers to be a certain thing. They need to be a certain thing when they get to April. They're heading there. They looked terrific last night, Tony, the way they played the game, and LeBron particularly. I think they'll be fine.
Now, you know where I stand on them. I think
they're going to win a championship.
I'm all in. And LeBron.
Well, would Love leave a championship team to go anywhere?
This is what's interesting to me.
Including the Lakers?
This is what's interesting to me. If they, LeBron can opt out too. Love's not the only one that can leave.
That's a good point.
LeBron can opt out.
You don't think?
Well, here's what I think. He's left before. I don't think he's going to do it, but if you win a championship, then it's via con Dios with everybody. You can do whatever you want if you bring Cleveland a championship after all these years. If Kevin Love wants to play with the decaying corpse of Kobe Bryant and 9 guys named Bill, go ahead. But to me, don't you want to win? LeBron gives you the best chance to win. Don't you want to win?
Maybe he's a West Coast kid. He grew up in Oregon, right? So
well, that's not L.A.
Went to school at UCLA.
Yeah.
Maybe he says, I look out there and see a great place in Lake Erie, and maybe I don't know. I haven't talked to Kevin Love about that.
You know what's interesting? It's very, very cold in Cleveland, right? It's very cold in Minnesota. You know what Kevin Love can do with the money? He can afford to buy a coat. He can stay warm.
You could also afford to chase the sun.
Do players want to win? You think the Lakers are going to win?
Well,
the Lakers are going to win?
If you have Kobe Bryant, he can still score 25 a game, and he can. And you have Kevin Love, and you can add something else. Look, I don't think it's going to happen. I think Kevin Love and the Cavaliers are going to be fine. But
I think you stay where you want to win.
Okay.
Stay for at least 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, you
stay.
think.
Sign a short-term deal.
Guy, was he 26?
Yeah.
We have the first drama of the season surrounding the sorry, no-account New York Knicks, your team, Tony.
Used to be.
Phil Jackson used to be. Phil doesn't like it that Commissioner Adam Silver said laughingly recently, quote, clearly they're still learning the triangle. I still don't understand it, close quote. Phil shot back, quote, I wasn't so humored by the commissioner actually jumping in. He doesn't need to get in on that, close quote. Tone, seriously? Does Phil have any reason whatsoever, given how dreadful the Knicks are, to have beef with the commissioner?
Okay. Adam Silver has been riding the wave of Donald Sterling and Steve Ballmer paying $2 billion for a team. He sits in New York and he smiles. I mean, that's what he does. Everybody loves him. Greg Popovich keeps his whole team out. Adam Silver sits and smiles and doesn't say word one. So I would love to slam him. But to be fair, in this particular case...
I was waiting for the butt.
Well, the triangle...
Give me the butt.
I mean, the triangle, it's positioned that the only person who can understand it in the world is Stephen Hawking. And the fact of the matter is, they're terrible, okay? So as much as I love Phil Jackson, in this case, I would let this go.
I'm going to venture to say that I would defend Phil on any level about anything related to basketball.
Not this.
I love Phil Jackson more than Jeannie Buss probably loves him, all right? Because he gave the team I love 6 rings, 6. But in this case, here's the one thing Phil Jackson can't be. He can't get thin-skinned running a bad basketball team in New York City. That's not going to work, and Phil knows that because he played there, Tony.
I'm going to ask you a trick question.
What?
Where are the Knicks in total points scored per game in the league?
Well, I know where they are in average
DFL.
points. Last.
They're last. Okay, so...
The offense, but they're passing the ball better. Okay. They got a higher percentage of assists to...
Doesn't matter
Baskets
what
made.
system you run. If you run the triangle, if you run cover 2, if you run lefties out of the bullpen to pitch to lefties. If Carmelo Anthony is on that team, that's the end of that system.
Wait a minute.
He's going to get the
They're
ball.
playing better.
He's going to shoot the ball. That's what he does.
Wait.
That's
Michael
what he
Jordan
does.
played in the system. When he got it, he shot it. The point is there have to be some passes resulting in that shot.
Were the Bulls ever last in offense?
No, never. Not ever.
Thank you.
Not ever.
The Detroit Red Wings general manager, Ken Holland, is heading the charge to reduce the number of games that end in shootouts. He would prefer that games end with a goal in overtime. The American Hockey League goes from 4-on-4 to 3-on-3 halfway through their overtime,
Space, baby.
and the results are dramatic. According to Yahoo's Puck Daddy, which I read all
Daddy,
the time,
come on.
in the AHL's 36 overtime games this season, 30 have been decided by goals, not shootouts. Will a bunch of the NHL adopt this?
Tonight. They should. The NHL does adopt things quickly. They don't do like the NFL and say we're going to have a commission study this forever. The NHL actually does in-season stuff. That's it.
The
They've done
slowest is baseball.
baseball.
They're
is
the slowest.
But Tony, I want them to start with 3-on-3. Have you ever seen one of these things
No.
at AHL?
No.
It's just.
I don't get the
First of
AHL
all,
package.
Yes, you don't need a package.
I don't get it on my
It's up and
cable.
down the ice. There's space. You're going to score goals. My thing would be I would limit shift changes. I want the guys to get tired and shoot the puck and not be able to come off after 48 seconds of ice time. I think this would add a lot of excitement to the games, rely less on the shootout, which I used to like, but I'm getting tired of it.
I don't like the shootout.
I used to like it.
Because the shootout is a skills competition.
It is.
It's not really hockey. I prefer that there be a goal, so I'm for this. But I'll go way old school on you.
What?
I mean, the reason the NHL can do this, if they want to do this, is because they took out the backbone of their league for 70 years, which was ties. I don't mind ties, Mike.
I don't want the
I don't
ties.
mind ties.
You can get around them.
Well,
Get around.
what I'm afraid of is all of these overtimes that the weaker offensive team, the better defensive team, isn't going
always
to
gonna go
try.
into a shell.
And yeah.
All right, wait, I'm going to grant you
Yeah.
that. But let me go to something else just for a second to turn this. The reason I really like this is because it shows that the NHL is looking at its product.
Right.
And saying, gooning out, fighting out, more goal scoring, faster pace, more action, full use of ice with great skilled players. The NHL used
So
to
go
take
to
the position,
one-on-one.
We don't have enough skilled
Let's make
guys.
it- let's
It's going to
make
look
it
like the
one-on-one.
Olympic product. And the Olympic product is superior.
Take out the goalies. Throw them out.
You have to get gimmicky. Just go
They
3-on-3.
are gimmicky.
In overtime,
They'll be gimmicky.
They're already doing 4-on-4.
Right.
Go 3-on-3.
But what we're both saying is that a good gimmick is
gimmick.
good.
I guess.
Let's take a break. But coming up, Alabama coach Nick Saban. The first one from the producer over the
Uncle
loudspeaker.
Milty?
Let's go.
Tim Tebow should feel blank about Nick Saban after the coach's comparison of him to Dak Prescott.
He should feel wounded. And here's what Saban said, and I quote, Dak Prescott reminds you of Tebow in a lot of ways, but is also a very good passer, unquote. Wow, what a shot at Tebow. In fact, Tebow had a significantly higher
Much
completion
better
percentage
passer.
in college,
Much better.
66.4 to 59.7.
How about his touchdowns to interceptions?
88 and 15 to Prescott's 32 and 14.
Isn't that close?
He had 9.3 yards per attempt.
Yeah.
Prescott has 8.2. So what was Nick Saban watching when Tim Tebow beat him for the SEC championship one year? What was he watching?
That's why Tim Tebow should feel in good company. Because this is what Nick Saban does. He just makes it up. He'll say anything and has no regard for the truth, usually. Oh, wait, you know that when he told you he wasn't going back to the NFL, right?
Bama.
Okay, so this is what he does, and Tim Tebow should feel like all the other people that Nick Saban has lied to in his time, he should feel fine. Because Tim Tebow knows this. I'm tired of people like Nick Saban taking shots at Tebow, who probably ought to be playing in the NFL right now.
Next.
Brandon Marshall gave Mark Trestman a blank endorsement.
It was a stirring endorsement. Marshall said on Chicago radio yesterday, and I quote, Coach Trestman is our guy. I've never been around someone better. Next year, I'm sure Coach is going to get this turned around, unquote. Now, some people on this show think that Trestman should get it turned around anywhere but in Chicago.
Canada.
Some people in this show think that Trestman should be fired.
Yesterday.
But this guy is the best receiver on the team.
Yeah.
And he's standing up. He's rolling with that coach. And by the way, Trestman, after 25 games, has the same record as Lovie Smith and the same record as Ditka.
Let me ask you if either Lovie Smith or Ditka lost their first halves by a total of something like 97-7 in 2 weeks.
Probably not.
Probably not. You just skipped over that. Nice try. You can't get that past me. It's a soldier's loyalty endorsement. He's a soldier. He's a great teammate, Brandon Marshall, because he also did this for his quarterback, for Jay Cutler, who should be benched. Because when you lose that badly, you are off the rails. You have to go now. But Brandon Marshall's a great teammate, and they ought to be thankful, and they're probably not, either one of them.
Next.
The handshake between Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love was blank, dude.
It was medicinal, dude, because after all of this choreography...
Are they really doing what you're suggesting?
After all of the complexity, they were pantomiming smoking a joint. Now, maybe that's what you do after you finally win a game at home. Maybe that's what you do after one guy has 22 and the other guy has 32 points. I can't get angry at Kyrie Irving for taking the most shots on the team because he really produced. But, I mean, the best thing about this was I don't think you would go through all of that rigmarole if you didn't like the other guy. So I think there's probably a bond there.
That handshake was straight 1970s, dude. And you know what I mean by that. You covered the NBA in the 1970s. In the NBA...
It was the original cloud.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
right.
saying? It was
and that was half the reason, the other reason it was perceived as too black, whatever that means, that the NBA's final championship series was on what? Delayed tape television. So if I'm the commissioner, I'm going to stop tweaking Phil Jackson for a moment, and I'm going to call the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I say, if I see any more of this in public, you're going to sit down each for 10 games.
Don't do that.
Smoke that.
But Silver doesn't make that call because he's beaming. Next.
Seth Griffith scored a blank goal.
He scored a go-ahead goal. And it also turned out to be the game-winning goal. Yeah. Look, it's a nice goal.
Nice.
He flips it in backwards between his legs. He makes the goalie
He's being engaged by a defender. What are you talking about?
He sticks his backside in the goalie's face to add insult to injury. But you know what, Mike? Much like dunks and bicycle kicks, every single night we see something pretty good that people go on TV and go crazy about, like the earth has ended. It's a nice goal.
I'm going to go crazy over that. That was Gretzky-esque. That's the word you're looking for. Yeah. Look, it's not like a bicycle kick, which every high school, player, every high school team in America has 4 guys who can do a bicycle kick and score in competition. This guy is being engaged. He is moved. He is dislodged from the position he wants to be, which is shooting when he's facing the goaltender, and he puts it in anyway, and it's a go-ahead goal. You missed the boat on this one. You've missed it. You've missed it.
Did I really?
It's a great goal.
Not what the public thinks. That's it. I played Mike like a real banjo. Let's take one last break, but still to come, some very important news about Tom. Happy time, people. Happy 40th birthday, Leonardo DiCaprio. He has already been nominated 5 times for an Academy Award. Most recently, he was nominated for The Wolf of Wall Street, which was an unbelievably excessive movie, yet great when it was great. He fancies himself a pickup basketball player, but George Clooney dominated him on the court, according to George Clooney.
Yeah, but he dominates at the Laker games when he brings Bar Raffaelli, and thankfully my man John Black of the Lakers sits me right near them. I get to see Bar Raffaelli all the time. Blake Lively, I think, he brought to a game.
Happy anniversary, Sean Alexander. On this day 13 years ago, you had the 7th best rushing game in NFL history, going for 266 yards. Alexander led the Seahawks to the Super Bowl in 2005, but Marshawn Lynch seems to have made Alexander a forgotten memory in Seattle.
Yeah, Tony, totally different style of running. I mean, they're absolute polar opposites, right? In terms of how they get it done.
Happy trails, Patrick Willis, the 49ers All-Pro linebacker, is out for the season with a toe injury. The 49ers have had all sorts of missed games on defense, but at least they get Aldon Smith back from suspension today. Is this a big loss, Wilbon?
I think it is a big loss. A rookie, Chris Bourne, is going to take his place. But, I mean, he's one of the best defenders in the league over the past, 5-6 years?
At least.
That's a tough replacement.
No errors again today. I'm not sure anyone is even paying attention backstage. When we go to the big finish.
Let's do it.
Adrian Peterson's grievance hearing will reportedly be held on Monday. Is that soon enough for you?
After the Bears game? But, no, they should do this now. What's wrong with this week?
Yes, they should.
The college rankings come out tonight. Who's in your top 4?
All right, Mississippi State and Alabama, TCU, and because Florida State is the defending champion and unbeaten, yes.
Gotta have it.
Florida State, yes. Ben Roethlisberger says Justin Bieber is not to blame for the Steelers' loss. Can't we blame him anyway?
Bieber went to the Bible study at the Steelers Hotel Saturday night, but like Roethlisberger didn't even see it. No, stop. But I would have let Bieber in. Tom Brady tells WEEI he goes to sleep at 8:30 every night. Your thoughts?
This is the closest I've ever been to Tom Brady. I go to sleep at 8:30 every night. I don't look like him. I'm not near anyone like he's near, but this makes me feel great.
Good for you.
Last one, midweek action tonight. 2 games. Who you got?
I got a clicker. I can watch the Kings and the Mavs, and the Spurs and the Warriors, should Pop choose to actually play the Spurs.
Which he won't. We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm going to watch that game to find out. I'm Mike Wilbon saying